Right now I'm getting some tan. I'm getting black now. Try to be
Anderson Silva?
Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now.
Nikolas, you're in Phuket. We're on the beach, as you can see. And man, how did you end up out here? Who brought you out here?
So my friends been telling me about Phuket for a long time, and finally I made the decision to come. I was supposed to come like 2 fights ago, and then I had to change my flight and I had to do my camp in Vegas. And now I'm here and I'm really enjoying. And I'm here in Bangtao now. I like the gym a lot, Bangtao MMA, and I think it's cool because they have everything in that gym. They have good wrestling, good jiu-jitsu, strength and conditioning area, good Muay Thai classes, kickboxing classes. They have everything. So I'm staying here for the rest of the time.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that Bruno Miranda fights for the PFL. He brought you up here, right? What's your connection with
Yeah,
him? How do you know him?
I know him for a long time ago since we started fighting back in Brazil. Like, I don't know, like maybe 12 years ago when I started fighting. My pro debut, I was only 19. Then me and Bruno used to be some of the best strikers.
Yeah.
We used to live in Rio, but most of the guys usually grapplers, right, from Brazil. But me and Bruno used to be some of the. They used to say that we like some of the best strikers around. Then they want to match us to fight, but we end up becoming friends instead.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool, man. It's cool to see both of you guys, 10 years later, plus more, and you're in the UFC, he's in the PFL, and you guys meet over here in Thailand. That's wild.
Yeah, that's wild. It's a small world.
It is,
Yeah.
it is. I saw, before you came up to Bangtao, I saw that you were down at Phuket Fight Club working with Leo.
Yeah, because just like the Hickman brothers, I always heard a lot of good things about the Hickman brothers, and I saw that they also used to train guys that I look up to, like Alexander Volkanovski is a guy that I like to study his style, and I knew that the Hickman brothers used to train him and other high-level strikers from Australia, and I always want to work with the Hickman brothers. And also Leo, I always heard good things about Leo, that he was a really good striking coach. I'm friends with Rashad Evans, and he told me that when he came to Thailand, he used to work with Leo. So I want to try, and I learned some good stuff with Leo.
Oh, Leo's
Yeah.
one of the best Muay Thai striking coaches. Just striking
Yeah.
coaches in general. He's worked with a lot of big names, and yeah, he's very helpful, right?
Yeah, yeah. I learned a lot, and it's good. It's good. It's experience, and I'm making some improvements in my game. I can like see what is useful for my game, and that's what I did. And I can see why so many fighters living in Thailand, like Rafael Fiziev is another guy that I like his fighting style, and I already can feel the difference. I can feel how my kicks are looking better, and I'm really enjoying this time here in Phuket.
Yeah, and working with the Hickman brothers, Frank and George, taking the classes. Wrestling class is pretty hectic, right?
Yeah, it was really good yesterday. Frankie class, I really like it, and I'm looking forward to stay here for longer.
Yeah, yeah. How many more weeks you got left?
I still have, I believe, 3 weeks left.
Okay. Sometimes they say they have 3 weeks left, and then next thing you know, they have 2 months left because they extended the stay.
Yeah, yeah, I met this guy. He's an American guy from New York City, I think,
Yeah.
and he said that, brother, be careful to don't end up like me because now I own a business here. He moved to Phuket and he own a business now.
Let's talk about the last fight, man, against Tom Nolan, undefeated prospect. All
Yeah.
finishes. It's just knockout after knockout, and he was talking a big game. Of course, you're a fighter. You could say whatever you want ahead of a fight. Did those words, motivate you?
Yeah, I said that in the interview, and those words motivated me a lot. He talked a lot. He talked a lot about like I was gonna be an easy opponent, and I understand his confidence was really high because he was undefeated and He was one of the tallest guys in the whole division, 6'3", and I just shut his hype. But he's a great fighter. But you gotta understand that I've been around forever too, like, and I'm a world class striker. He was a striker, and I've been studying the game, and I've been working with some of the best since I was 18 years old, and I think it's been paying off because right now I have 10 knockouts and 8 in the first round and 2 first round knockouts in UFC now, and he learned it in the hard way, and I think he's gonna come back better.
Oh, for sure, for sure. You know, he's still a big prospect, but like you said, you knocked him down, you knocked him out, and you take the hype. But was there a lot of pressure on you? You know, the pressure you put on yourself because the fight before that?
I think I did use the pressure in a good way because the fight before that, I think I was too afraid to make mistakes, and I didn't pull the trigger because I want to get to my new contract with the UFC, and I think I didn't pull the trigger. And in the fight against Tom Nolan, I was like, no, now I don't give a fuck, and I even wrote like, man, this time fight like a man, and that's what I did, and it was 66 seconds knockout, right?
Yeah, it was beautiful. The right cross landed
Yeah.
clean, right?
Yeah, I was working on that movement for a long time, and yeah, I remember when I was warming up, I even told my coach, so I can feel that this right cross is feeling strong,
Yeah.
and that was the punch that I landed.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful strike, man. And like you said, you've been a world class striker for a while, and you're just starting to maybe even get to the best version of you
Exactly.
right now, right? Heading into the best version of you.
And we can see like an example, like Jim Miller is an example like that, and he was my UFC debut, and he's the guy who has the highest number of UFC fights and the highest number of wins in the lightweight division, which is the hottest division, right? Always been the hottest division.
For sure.
And you can see how like he's now 40 years old and he's been beating everyone, and that's because of experience, man. And it's like they said, I remember one of my friends telling me that the debut was hard, and I was like, no, that's not gonna happen with me. And my debut was against Jim Miller, the guy with the most experience in the whole UFC, and I think that was what happened too, and maybe that made a difference in my fight against Tom Nolan too.
Yeah, it's just pulling the trigger, right? Sometimes, you know, fighters are battling themselves more than they're battling their opponent, right? It's like you said, you know, it's just you're too hesitant. You know what I mean? You have to let
Yeah.
that go. And then
But
now
also
you let it go.
sometimes you let it go too much. It's like
Yeah.
you gotta find the right balance.
Exactly.
And
Do you feel like you found the balance right now?
yeah, I feel
Okay.
yeah, and I could show that on 66
Yeah.
66 seconds fight, right?
Yeah. And you know, going back to Jim Miller, you know, debuting against Jim Miller, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
But also I think the UFC maybe saw me with good eyes. I don't know, because the last guy who had beat Jim Miller, Joe Solecki, I fought this guy outside UFC and I knocked him out in the third round. So I think maybe the matchmaker thought that I could beat Miller because I beat a guy that beat Miller. But the way he beat Miller wasn't an exciting fight. Was kind of like he fought really safe. Was 3 rounds fight, and he already had some fights in UFC before he fought Jim Miller. Because, like I say, the debut sometimes is a little bit different.
yeah, for sure, it is different.
Yeah.
And you've been up, you've been down. You know, you've had 5 fights in the UFC now. Man, what do you think of your career so far? You know, you've experienced a lot of different
Yeah.
scenarios.
Yeah, my career, I started really young. Like I said, my debut, I was only 19 years old. When I was only 21 years old, I was in Tough, the Ultimate Fighter UFC reality show. I didn't make it to the UFC, and it was like to say, it was a lot of ups and downs. And I remember that right before the reality show, I was talking with Glover because he's from the same state I'm from. And he tried to explain to me, like, for some people, things happen fast. for others, no. Like I think every person has a different path, a different journey. For some, things gonna happen fast, and for others, it's gonna take a long time. But one thing I know for sure, it's not the guy. I saw something that one guy was saying, it's not the one that it's not the one that shine the brightest, but it's the one that can burn for longer.
Yeah,
And those guys that never give up and keep going, keep fighting, their time is gonna come. Sooner or later, the time is gonna come.
the ultimate fighter, you know,
Yeah.
going through that and then not being signed, you know, was it crushing to you?
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. Oh, for a couple of years that would piss me off really bad. Yeah. And I made the decision to move to the United States because the number one reason why I moved to the United States was because I want to get signed with the UFC, and it was like a plan, and I want to get signed with the UFC, and I had like plan B and C and D, and that's what I did.
Yeah, you just said it. You know, it's not who burns the brightest, it's who burns the longest, right? And you
Yes.
continued with your path, right? Some guys, I'm pretty sure, that went on the show with you, they're probably not even fighting anymore. Some of them,
Oh, so many, so
right?
many.
Because
Yeah.
it crushed them to the point where it's like,
Yeah.
that was my only opportunity. I'm
Yeah,
done,
so
right?
many.
But you didn't stop.
I didn't stop. Yeah.
And you moved to a whole nother country
By myself.
by yourself. You
Yeah.
know, Las Vegas, how is it, man? How's life over there?
So, the state that I stayed for the longest time was New Jersey,
Oh, okay.
because at first I went to Connecticut because Glover Teixeira, like me and Glover, we both at our family house, like spending Christmas and stuff like that. Then I already had a plan to move to the States, and Glover said, "Oh, I'm going right now." Then I said, "Oh, send me your flight number because I'm gonna book a flight to go with you." Then I went to Connecticut with Glover and stayed there for a month, but he didn't have lightweights over there. It was more heavy guys. Then one of my friends, Nikolas, that fights in UFC, I think he's number 4 in the flyweight ranking right now. He was helping Marlon Moraes to get ready for fight. Then they call me, they say, brother, come to New Jersey because he has a lot of high-level lightweights and had Edson Barboza, Eddie Alvarez, Frankie Edgar. And then he even asked me, brother, you can spar southpaw? And I used to suck at southpaw. Because Eddie Alvarez is gonna fight Justin Poirier, he needs a sparring partner. I say, yeah, I can do southpaw. Then I went to New Jersey. Then I ended up staying there for like 3.5 years. And while I was in New Jersey, I had my opportunity in Dana White Contender Series, and that's how I got signed with the UFC. At first, I had to become like one of the best fighters in the country, like climb the rankings in the United States. Then I became a Cage Field champion.
Yeah.
Then after I became Cage Field champion, had the title, the belt. Then I had my opportunity on Dana White Contender Series.
Yeah, and you did your thing, and yeah, man. And then you went from New Jersey to Las Vegas. Then is that what happened?
So I've been all over. I tried to go to Florida for a little bit too because I had so many Brazilian friends in American Top Team. Then I went back to Jersey, became champion in Cage Fury. Then after that, I was like, because Edson Barboza and Marlon Moraes, they moved to Florida. Frankie Edgar went down to 135. Eddie Alvarez, sometimes he would be more in Philadelphia. So I'm like, brother, I need high level training partners. So where I should go? Then my manager gave me the idea to go to Colorado because the team had so many UFC fighters and high level training partners.
Factory X.
Factory X, yeah. Then I moved to Colorado for a couple months. Then after I moved to Vegas, and Vegas for me is my favorite, and it's my new hometown, and I've been there for 2 years.
Now you got a third hometown.
Yeah.
You got Vegas.
Yeah.
You know, Brazil's Brazil. That's your home. But
Yeah.
you know, you got Vegas, and now
Yeah.
you got your third hometown
Yeah.
here with the beautiful beach
Yeah.
and everything.
And it's been a long time since I moved to the States. I think almost 7 years now. Yeah.
How was it like developing your English? You know what I mean? Because there's
I
some
had-
fighters that they never like develop their English to the point where they can do interviews, right? But
Yeah.
you're smooth with it. Like,
And my English was so bad when I moved to the States, so bad.
was there a lot of struggles where you just like, man, this is harder than I thought?
Yeah, my English sucks in the beginning, but I think one thing that helped me a lot is because I always been in areas that I was the only Brazilian, so I had to speak English. And the only Brazilians that was there was Moro, Edson Barbosa, Ricardo Almeida, but they all had family and I was like by myself in a different place, so I had to learn. Sometimes like to talk with girls using the Google Translate.
You gotta do what you gotta do, right? I love it. I love it. Then when you get back home to Vegas, what's the plans for you moving forward?
So I feel that this time here in Bangtao right now, it's helped me so much to get in shape fast.
Okay.
So I want to enjoy this time here, keep improving, and I feel that I'm getting in shape fast here. Then when I get back to Vegas, I'm already texting my manager and telling him that I'm gonna be back ready to fight. And yeah, I just wanna stay in shape here, and when I get back to Vegas, I'm gonna be ready. Like it would be good if I have a date, so I can make plans, make a plan, and fight. So that's it.
Is
Yeah.
there anybody that you have your eyes on? You know what I mean? There's so many fighters
So
now, right?
many,
So
right.
many prospects, veterans in the lightweight division where it's like, who can you slide in against, you know?
No, really. I just hope there can be like a opponent that is gonna one guy that really likes to fight. That is gonna be an exciting fight, just like my fight against Tom Nolan. I even like when I said on the interview when I was like the day of the fight, I saw him and his team in the elevator. Then I'm like, brother, there is no way that's gonna be a boring fight. Then we all started laughing, and it's good to have fights like that against guys that you know that they really come to fight. Because my fight that was 2 fights ago against Trey, he's an amazing athlete. He's an amazing athlete, but at the same time, the way he fights, it's kind of like it's hard to put on a show
Yeah.
because he avoids so much like to be on a how we say a banger.
Yeah, he's
Like,
not a banger.
He doesn't want to bang or be in a war. And even when I was studying his fights, I could hear his coach saying, "Avoid the car crashes." And I see like an example as Justin Gage. I saw him saying that he always looking for the car crashes, and I think that's how I built my style too. I'm looking for car crashes.
High level car crash.
Yeah.
Right? And speaking of Justin Gaethje, he's gonna fight Max Holloway for the BMF title coming up soon. What do you think of that fight, man?
Oh, that's gonna be an interesting fight because, like, I always looked up for Max Holloway. Like, I think since he was so young and doing so well in UFC already, right? His techniques is awesome, but like Justin Gage is just it's like it's hard to predict something. He's like unpredictable, right? Like look, the fight it was his last fight against Dustin Poirier that
Yes.
he head kick,
Yes.
and I was listening to his interview and he was saying that he sucked at head kicks. Like he couldn't head kick nobody. Then before that fight, he just trained some head kicks and knocked out one of the best guys ever.
Yeah, you never really see him throwing head kicks. He's always kicking to the calf, to the thigh, right? That's what he's
Yeah.
known for. But
He's a
yeah,
savage.
man, that shows you, there's always something fighters are working on behind the scenes that you don't know about, and it will come out in a fight
Yeah.
eventually, right?
Yeah.
So do you see Gaethje? Do you see a finish in that one, or do you? Because Max Holloway is tough. you know
That's
what
so hard to predict. Yeah, I don't really, I can't pick none of those.
I mean?
Yeah,
It's gonna be great though. It's gonna be great.
it's gonna be
you know,
great. Yeah,
You
that's for
mentioned
sure.
Glover, right? Glover, and he's from the same area as you in
Yeah.
Brazil, and he took you in, early on. Incredible career he had, right? He's one of the nicest dudes you'll ever meet. I've interviewed him a few times, and yeah, very respectful, love him. But one of his fighters, Alex Pereira, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever train with?
Yeah. One day I was going upstairs at the UFCPI to do some training by myself. Then I saw Glover and Alex, and he's like, "Oh shit, you're here." Then let's train. Then Glover said, "Let's train with us." Then we trained together. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was awesome.
He's incredible. It's incredible what he has done, right?
Yeah.
You know, how big is he in Brazil? Do you have an idea of like? Because we don't know, because we're not in Brazil.
Yeah, not really. I don't live in Brazil anymore. I don't know how big, but I know that all over the world he got so big right now, right? And I know that Charles is really big in Brazil. That I know for sure. But yeah, people sometimes they think that Alex is just like genetically gifted, but no, he has some good fight IQ and a lot of experience.
You have to have good fight IQ with the hands
Yeah.
low like that
Yeah.
against light heavyweights.
Oh, yeah,
you
that's
know,
true.
it's just like his style just goes against everything that a coach would tell you in the beginning, right? When you start a striking class from the start, it's
Yeah.
opposite, right? But he's a professional, so
Yeah,
you know when you see that, right? It's just like,
yeah.
what do you think of the?
Yeah, when me and Glover when we trained with Alex was teaching,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Yeah, it's good, but at the same time, there is some things that only Alex can do it. It's like only him."
Yeah. What do you think of the Jamal Hill fight? That's gonna be a car crash.
Yeah, that's gonna be a car crash for sure. Yeah, it's gonna be a good fight. Someone's getting knocked out on that fight.
Someone is. So, for you, you're gonna go back to Vegas, try to get a fight lined up. Do you think like, cause they're booking fights like May, you know, April. You know, I don't think they've booked anything for June, but I think they've booked stuff for May. So May, would that be a good time for you, or April?
Yeah, I think that May would be a good time. And I think the main thing is just being ready, staying ready, staying in shape. That's the main thing, I think, because then sometimes even like always, some guys have to pull out fights, and usually the matchmakers they wanna take someone that is already on the roster. So that's why I think it's important to be always ready.
Yeah, and especially being in Vegas, it's like right down the
Yeah.
street, right? So
Yeah.
it's not hard to find you.
No.
All right, man. Well, appreciate it, Nicholas. And Motta, what does that mean in Portuguese?
Motta. I don't think that is a Portuguese
Oh,
word.
it's not?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's not a Portuguese word.
Because I think
I
in
know that in
Spanish-
Spanish.
Yeah.
I think probably it's mote with just one T. It means like marijuana.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But I was trying to look on Google like from where this mote with two T's is from, and I saw that it's Italian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I know of the Spanish.
Yeah, because you know the boxer Jake LaMotta.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, in Brazil, I remember that they used to have some Italians there too before.
You might be a little Italian.
Nah.
A little Italian. You got the nice hair too, right? You got the nice hair.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thank you so much, man, for taking the time. All right.
Yeah.